blades to get ice or snow off. If the spring is tight enough, it can cause the wiper to crack the glass in your windshield. So now that you know what not to do yourself a favor and find your ice scraper or snow brush before a storm hits. And be kind to your wipers. Use your defrosters to melt ice away on your windshield. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
If you see something you'd like us to verify, you can text us the word verify to the number on your screen. That's 309-304-0888. Or you can send us an email to verify@wqad.com.
All right, it's 4:49 and still ahead right at road conditions. I know our driver and photog Juwan is in Davenport right now, and you can still see those roads are pretty snow covered right now. Again, different from what we saw on Tuesday around this time when we were just seeing those wet roads, Devin, but it is a different scene entirely.
Yeah, as you see from even this vantage point, you have where maybe one side of the road here, you can see some of the pavement, but it's still mostly covered. And then the other side is completely covered. So if that just doesn't give you a sense of what we're dealing with, that's also indicative of the sign of on the highways and on the interstates as well. So this is something that's going to continue throughout the day. And yes, we're going to be tracking it.
Yep, and we will be tracking this all morning.
Let's get back to our weather.
Yeah, a lot of weather to talk about this morning for sure. In fact, I want to show you some new video coming in from Woodhull. Reminder, we have more than 90 plus school closings on the WQAD website, WQAD.com, and the News 8 app. But here's the video I was talking about, thunder snow in Woodhull. You saw the flash of lightning there, very heavy snow. How much longer we're going to see these conditions and when the wind is going to create blizzard conditions. That's what we're going to focus on as we continue ahead here in the 5 o'clock hour.
All righty. Well, thanks, Andrew. We'll still ahead right here on Good Morning.
Covered in snow. This was that lighter, fluffier snow with the colder temperatures, much more impactful. And the storm is coming in stronger and faster than forecast this morning. So really got to take it slow.
Yeah, and this is not going anywhere.
Nope.
Yeah.
Going to be here for a while.
It's only going to elevate.
Exactly.
Sounds like.
So get your indoor plans ready. If you got to go to work, 10 and 2, slow and steady will win the race.
That's right.
Travel will not become impossible until we get to tonight. That's when the blowing snow will take over.
Yeah, but you have to give yourself plenty of time if
Yes.
you do have to get out.
Exactly, and that was the case for me this morning, going about 40 miles an hour on Interstate 80 and 280, plan ahead for a couple of extra minutes. Let's see what the bridges look like. Completely covered also in snow. Definitely traffic speeds are greatly reduced compared to what we normally see, so give yourself some extra time. I'll refresh those commute times here coming up in just a moment as we pull in the latest traffic data. Still getting that in from the Iowa DOT. There's I-74. Every single surface covered in snow. Same thing on Interstate 80, though it looks like in some spots the right-hand lane is getting a little bit better, but I can tell you that passing lane is going to be a nightmare until crews can get that picked up. Looks like about an inch of snow sitting on Route 30 here west of Rock Falls. Not too much wind with that yet, but Prophetstown, This camera located a little bit higher off the ground. It's on a grain bin elevator, but this gives you an idea of what it's going to look like here on the ground when the winds gust up to 50 miles an hour later this afternoon and into tonight. Visibility is going to be near zero with whiteout conditions likely. Let's show you what's going on with the road conditions. Everything is covered in every single direction. You got to go all the way to downtown Chicago into the tollways to see any type of clearing. And yes, we've had thunder snow this morning, especially around Cambridge, Bishop Hill, and Kewanee, and Woodhull. You see a little lightning bolt icon popping up there, indicating very heavy snow. But we're starting to see a break in the snow near Monmouth and Galesburg. That break will be arriving in the next hour, but it's a temporary one. Look at all the snow yet to come, still flying across parts of Iowa. So a rare blizzard warning goes into effect here for the Quad Cities, counties in red there. 5 o'clock this evening through noon tomorrow. The rest of us are in a winter storm warning. The blizzard warning means travel is going to be near impossible later tonight after sunset. No visibility whatsoever and lots of blowing and drifting on the roads. So we'll show you when we will see some bigger improvement in this pattern and also some really cold air that we're concerned with too. We will track all of that coming up.
All right, Andrew, thank you. Well, we want to get right to the beast this morning with a live look at road conditions. And this is right now from Locust Street. And as you see, there are basically the roads are completely covered.
Yes. Yeah.
But I will say we have also seen from this vantage point some parts of Davenport actually having some roads that have been either plowed or there's also some treatment that's been
Well, yeah,
brought down.
and you can, Devin, you can also see that, at least of the cars that have driven on the road so far helped a little bit, of course, but I know driving to work, I saw the plows that were out working hard. But, it's hard to get these roads cleared because, goodness, the snow just keeps coming and the roads are just covered.
Yeah, it's really faster
nonstop
than they can really continue to
Yeah.
keep up with. And we're going to be talking with the Iowa Department of Transportation in just a few moments. And it's also important to note that there's a towing ban in effect for Scott County right now. And that basically says that in order for a tow to get to you, it will probably take a lot of time. So try not to get out if you don't have to, but we will be tracking this storm all morning long as we continue to see the effects. And News 8's Joe McCoy will be live from us from the beach.
We're still expecting at least 6 to 7 inches minimum, up to 10 on the high spots. 46-mile-an-hour wind gusts likely by midnight tonight. That's why we have a blizzard warning. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about the dangerous wind chills that are going to come into play behind this system next.
Studies show those with mild to severe hearing loss exercise less than those with normal hearing.
Oh, okay. I mean, well, that's.
We've got a wind chill watch in place for early next week, and I guarantee at this point it's going to become a wind chill warning. Wind chills will be as low as 30 to 35 degrees below zero Monday morning and again Tuesday morning. While we have the Arctic air, at least we're going to get a break from the snow for a while. Don't see any big time weather systems coming in as that colder air settles in too.
All right, thanks, Andrew. Time
been stuck in my head for like 3 days.
Yeah, the traffic is a mess this morning, and especially the roads just completely covered in snow. We are starting to get a break from the heavier snow here in the immediate Quad Cities, but that's not the case everywhere. I'll show you what the bridges look like, and yeah, an absolute mess, 100% covered. Commute times way elevated compared to normal because we just don't have the right road conditions for you to use normal speeds. I can tell you my commute coming in, Interstate 80 was about 45 to 50 miles an hour. Interstate 280 was in worse shape, going about 35, 40 miles an hour safely. So keep that in mind. Interstate 74, every view we have completely covered in snow, though a couple of the main lanes on the right-hand side don't look too bad, but the passing lane, definitely a mess. There's Interstate 80, also in pretty bad shape. Thankfully, as of right now, no major reports of any accidents. Where's the heaviest snow? Right here, downtown Rock Falls into the Sauk Valley. Looks like a solid 1 to 2 inches already on the ground there. And a preview of what's to come later today as a full-blown blizzard takes over the Quad Cities. A rare blizzard warning is in place. How long we're expecting near impossible travel conditions here and throughout the Quad Cities. We're going to track that coming up.
So what are you seeing out on the roads?
Good morning, Devin. Certainly worse conditions today than we saw Tuesday morning at this time. We're driving right now on Devil's Glen Road in Bettendorf, and let me flip this camera to give you guys a look at what we're seeing. But one thing you really have to worry about today that you didn't really have to worry about on Tuesday is the ice. Because those temperatures are in those mid-20s, ice is certainly a factor in play here today, and we already have seen this morning those blizzard-like conditions that Andrew has been mentioning. Now, right now, I would say we're in a little bit of lull in terms of the snow, just seeing some flurries coming down. But when I was coming out to my car this morning around 4:30, those blizzard-like conditions were certainly in effect. I will say we have already seen a good handful of plows on the road. So in Davenport, in Bettendorf, they're already trying to clear the roads this morning, doing all that they can to try to give drivers as easy as a morning commute as possible. But as Andrew just mentioned, definitely going to need to allocate much more time this morning, probably even more than you needed to on Tuesday. Watch out especially for those layers of ice on those side roads as well. In the street I live in Davenport, there's a strong layer of ice underneath all of this fresh snow, and that's something that can really be dangerous because you may think, oh, it's just some light compact snow, my car will handle that fine, but then there's that layer of ice underneath that you're not seeing because of that new snow that started overnight, and that obviously can cause a lot of accidents here this morning. Most of the snow that we're seeing is this light compact snow, but what I would say is that it is a little bit heavier than you may expect because there is more moisture in the air due to those temperatures being a little bit more elevated than we're expected to see later this afternoon. It's still, I would not call this really light, fluffy snow. There still is some weight to it. So we're going to be driving on the roads all morning, guys, keeping you with updates as we go along and as you guys get ready for your morning commute. Devin and Charles, back to you guys.
All right.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Oh,
Good.
we're just trying to
Yep.
stick with things right now. And
Yep,
what
yep.
are you all seeing out on the roads?
Well, as your reporter just described, we're seeing some pretty nasty conditions already. We have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 520 plows out on the system right now currently. I would anticipate that number will continue to increase over the next hour or so. But as you guys also mentioned, pretty much most of Iowa is either in the partially to 100% covered, showing on the road conditions on the 511 map.
Yeah, Craig, and I know we had you on Tuesday morning when we were kind of just seeing those wet roads around this time. Now, certainly a different scene. What are you expecting today?
Actually, we're anticipating that the conditions are just going to continue to get worse as the day goes on. Visibility is going to be a pretty significant issue for travelers. Today's going to be a day, if you don't need to travel, it's going to be a day that you just need to stay home and stay safe.
Can you kind of talk about any differences from Tuesday to the snowfall that we're seeing now and also that's going to actually pick up throughout the rest of the day?
Couple of differences that we will see here. One, temperatures. Temperatures and the type of snow. Earlier this week, the snow that we were receiving was more of a heavier, wet snow that really compacted when driven on the pavement. We were able to utilize our treatment strategies, normal treatment strategies of salt and salt brine, to really be able to get into that snowpack and that ice, get that cleared off. Now with the temperatures dropping the way they are, that's going to hamper our ability to use our materials as effectively as we would with those higher temperatures. Plus, just the wind and the visibility are going to create extra issues for us, not only from being able to to clear that snow from the roadway, but it also is going to start creating some safety issues for our staff as well.
Absolutely, Craig. And you already mentioned that, if you absolutely do not have to go out, you should stay home today. But what other messages do you have for drivers?
the biggest message, if you do have to travel today, make sure that you have all of your winter safety survival kit with you, extra blankets, food, water. Make sure your car is full of gas. Make sure your cell phone is fully charged. But and when you're out there, make sure that you're operating in a safe uh, manner. Slow your speed down. That's one of the things we saw earlier in the week where people got into trouble. They were just driving way too fast for the conditions. But again, we're really advising based on the forecast and what we're seeing out there now. If you don't need to travel, stay home.
All right, Craig Barkfried with the Iowa Department of Transportation. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we have some tips to help keep you safe on the roads as during this storm, you should avoid using cruise control on icy roads since it can cause vehicles to skid. And if you do get caught in a pile of snow, pouring sand, kitty litter, or gravel in the path of the wheels can help create traction. You might also want to keep a winter supply kit in your car in case you get stranded.
Yes, and a lot of us will be digging out once the storm passes through, and snow shoveling can be hazardous to your heart. The American Heart Association says you should take breaks as needed when shoveling and not to eat a big meal or drink alcohol before or soon after clearing snow. The association also recommends opting for a small shovel or snow blower. Now they say listen to your body and consult your doctor if you have any concerns.
strikes all throughout parts of Henry County and even south into parts of Warren and Henderson County this morning. No surprise to see that with some very strong lift in this storm system, and temperatures are colder too. So this is a little bit of a lighter, fluffier snow compared to what we had Monday into Tuesday, and that's why it's sticking to the roads better. So there's the heavy snow band right now throughout the Sauk Valley. We're getting a break here in the Quad Cities. This break is going to last a few hours, and I'm hopeful that we'll see a little bit of an improvement in road conditions before another band of snow moves in a little bit later. And you can start to see that organized right here. So we'll get about a 2-hour window where the heavy snow will take a break, then a new round of snow will come in by mid-morning. Tonight is when things really go downhill. That's when we've got a blizzard warning, and that's in dark red here on your screen. It does include the Quad Cities. It's from 5 o'clock this evening until noon tomorrow. Whiteout conditions, near impossible travel, and if you have to go out tonight, a winter weather survival kit absolutely needs to be in your vehicle. Blanket, salt, cat litter if you become stuck. Tow bands will likely be in effect, and plows will likely be pulled off the roads when winds get up to 50 miles an hour later this evening. So here's what I mean about that filling back in. You see the break coming to an end by mid to late morning. Yes, we could still see a mix of rain and snow here in our easternmost hometowns, but the rest of us are all snow, and that continues steadily throughout the evening and into the overnight hours. It won't be until about sunrise tomorrow when the storm, the accumulating snow factor, will come to an end. So right now we're in the thick of things. Major impacts from now all the way till 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. About 9 inches of snow total expected here in the Quad Cities. We've already got 4 to 4.5 on the ground right now. But you notice the worst of the wind coming in later tonight. That's when winds get up to 50 miles an hour. For a gust. These are not sustained speeds, these are gusts, but that's why we have a blizzard warning in place. Here's the snowfall yet to come. Again, about 9 inches here in the Quad Cities or so. The rest of us around similar numbers, a little bit less as you go to the south and east where the rain will mix in. Then we pay attention to what happens next week, and this is some real cold air. These are feels like temperatures as we wake up on Monday morning. 30 to 35, even 36 degrees below zero. We have a wind chill watch in place for early next week that I guarantee at this point will turn into a wind chill warning when we get closer to it. Live winter storm discussion again this morning at 9 o'clock. You can find the link on our website at WQAD.com. Just hit the weather tab. We're going to chat about this storm and, of course, the bitter cold coming in next week. Quick break, and we'll take you through the next 8 days right after this.
Jennifer?
Yep, that's me, Jennifer.
I gotta go.
Don't meet strangers on Marketplace. Visit Premier Jewelry and Loan, where you'll get the best price paid in cash. So forget those sketchy Marketplace meetups. Come to a location that's been trusted for 10 years. Premier Jewelry and Loan.
All right, let's take you through the next 8 days, and there is plenty of cold, including nighttime temperatures well below zero Sunday night into Monday morning, and again Monday night into Tuesday morning. A lot of kids will be off on Monday, of course, for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but Tuesday may offer some school delays or cancellations there too because of the dangerous low wind chills. On the plus side, I'm always a glass half full type of guy. We get a break from the snow as the cold comes in next week.
In today's Tech Bites, Apple's Vision Pro headsets are expected to fly off the shelves. The company
Look from the beast. They are in downtown Rock Island right now, and as you see, plows have been able to get to some roads, but then others, it's still completely covered.
Absolutely, and then, like what we've been preaching all morning long so far, if you have to head out this morning, please be extra careful as I drop my pen and leave some extra room between your car and the car in front of you. And if you see a plow, give those guys some extra space as well, because they're, of course, working hard to make sure the roads are as cleared off as possible.
And Andrew, you're see the second winter storm is here, and it is a mess across our viewing area. Yeah. Thank you for joining us on this Friday, everyone. I'm Devin Brooks.
Good morning. I'm Charles Hart.
And I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes. Across the way as we take a live look from the
hey, Joe.
Actually, we're going to get to him in just a moment. We're going to check back. This is actually in Rock Island where you see some plows have been able to get to the roads, but no, this is just the start of things, and it's only going to get worse as we go throughout the day, right?
Exactly, yeah. So we're seeing this storm system come in a little bit stronger than what we forecasted yesterday at this time this morning, but the worst of the wind and the snow and now a likely blizzard takes place later today. In fact, a rare blizzard warning is now in place for this evening.
Yeah, so buckle up, because we're going to be going through this the next several hours to come.
Exactly. We've got a lot to talk about. So let's start with what's going on, continuing Joe's coverage there in the Beast with what we've got going on the bridges and the rest of our roadways, which is just complete coverage of snow on all of the interstates and all of the side roads especially too. There you see, it looks like Interstate 80 is getting a smidge better near the Interstate 80 bridge, but we'll get the rest of the cameras up here and you can see what I mean. I mean, just completely covered in in all directions. And you see Interstate 80 is in the same shape. I'm keeping an eye on the traffic map because so far this morning, we've been fortunate in that we haven't had any major accidents being reported. That is certainly some good news. That means folks are slowing down. But there you see your roads conditions map. Everything is pink, which means completely covered in snow, no surprise. We're getting a break from the snow right now. It's a temporary break, though, because there will be more on the way here as we get toward the mid-morning. But there's the last of the snow wrapping up in the Sauk Valley, nothing in Galesburg, and further south on I-74. But look at the new snow developing near Quincy. That will fill in as we go through the next few hours, and then the wind will take over tonight. That is a blizzard warning starting at 5 o'clock this evening, and yes, it includes the Quad Cities. So we'll time out when those strongest winds will arrive and when travel will become nearly impossible, followed by when this storm system will clear on out of here. All of that, tracking it hour by hour, coming up.
All right, thanks, Andrew. Well, let's continue now with our team coverage of this second winter storm. And News 8's Joe McCoy is giving us live looks from the beast this morning. Joe, where are you and what are you seeing?
Good morning, Devin. We're driving around in downtown Rock Island right now. Definitely a lull in the snow right now. Not even really flurries at this point, but because of those wind gusts, we are seeing a lot of snow that is flying off of roofs and flying off of those snow banks that have already been built up. And as you guys see here, the streets in downtown Rock Island are fairly decent, I would say. Some are better than others. There are a good handful of plows out here in downtown Rock Island, so the city is doing a good job trying to clear at least those main roads this morning. But these conditions are still pretty nasty, especially around 4:30 when I was walking out to my car. Strong wind gusts, just kind of that snow pelting your face that no one likes to see. And one thing you really do have to watch out for this morning is the ice. Even in the beast with our massive, snow tires on, we were still sliding, taking left and right turns as we take a right turn right now. Right there, we just slid a little bit on that ice. So especially on those side roads, you may see that compact snow, that fluffy snow that we've seen overnight and think, oh, these roads aren't too bad, my tires will be able to handle it fine. But on some of those side roads, there's that strong layer of ice underneath all of that snow that obviously is very dangerous and can cause some nasty accidents. So no cruise control if you're driving on the highway because the ice can cause your car to skid. But we'll be tracking all of this throughout the morning, and we'll keep you guys up.
All right, yeah, things
Charles,
are
back to you
very
guys.
slick out there, and we're going to check back in with you, Joe, in our next half hour. Thank you for that report.
Alrighty, well, weather.gov has tips for dressing in cold weather, and in cold conditions like these, you're going to want to try to put on at least 2 to 3 layers and keep bundled with a hat and boots. In extreme cold, you're going to want to be dressed to the brim, including a face mask. Maybe put on 3 or more layers to be safe.
Snow shoveling can be hazardous to your heart, and we want to tell you that the American Heart Association offers these safety tips. They say to take breaks as needed when shoveling and not to eat big meals or drink alcohol before or soon after clearing snow. The Medical Association also recommends opting for a small shovel or snow blower. They say listen to your body and consult your doctor if you have concerns. You can also stay updated on your phone as we're tracking school closings and snow emergencies across towns in our area. That's at the bottom of your screen right now. You can also just text this word snow to the number you see here. That's 309-304-0888. And we're going to get all of that information right to you. And now is a good time to remind you to download the News 8 app, as it will help you get up-to-the-minute updates on how the weather is impacting you before you head out the door.
above the average, what we typically see. I mean, you're talking about now more than an hour and some change to get into Iowa City using Interstate 80, which is starting to improve a little bit more because we're seeing a break from the snow. But in other views like this one, you're still seeing that a good chunk of the interstate itself is covered in snow. So you need a lot of extra time. There's I-74 also covered in snow. The one nice thing about what I've seen so far this morning, no major traffic incidents, including collisions or crashes here in the Quad Cities. Let's keep it that way. Slow and steady, remember, wins the race. There you see a good amount of snow still on the ground in Rock Falls there. About a good inch or two, I think, downtown. There's Illinois 40. And First Avenue looking quite messy, and snow continuing to fall there. Road conditions, no surprise, it's pink everywhere. You'd be hard-pressed to find a clear road anywhere within the Quad Cities. Make sure and just take things slow. The snow has stuck to the roads more efficiently this morning because of colder temperatures, and it's a lighter, fluffier snow for the most part, with some wet flakes mixed in here and there, but it's really created quite a mess on all of our roads. Now, we're getting a break temporarily right now. You're noticing that here. That'll last for about another hour or two. Then this will start to take over and fill in. And honestly, looking at the scans of the radar down there to the south of us, some of this is looking what I would call convective in nature, in that it almost looks like we could see another opportunity for some thunder snow as this intensifies and races off to the northeast in the next couple of hours. Here's the last of the accumulating steady snow, though. Moving out of the Sauk Valley, we again get this nice little break here in the Quad Cities and throughout the region for a little while, but we'll watch this zone here. Again, I think that is going to continue to intensify and move off to the northeast, and we're going to see another round of accumulating snow by about mid-morning. 8, 9 o'clock. So here's what we've got going on in terms of the warnings. A blizzard warning now in place for the Quad Cities that begins 5 o'clock this evening. That is the highest level of warning for a winter product that the National Weather Service has. They don't put it out lightly. I would call it rare because you don't see it that often, but that goes to tell you how difficult travel is going to be as we get into tonight. Winds up to 50 miles an hour are expected in the blizzard warning area, which is in that dark orange color on your map. Let's go through future track. It keeps the idea of a small break that fills back in once we get closer to 8, 9 o'clock. And yes, if you live east of the Quad Cities, Galesburg, Geneseo, Kewanee, Princeton, you could see some rain before the noon hour, before it all changes back over to snow, and a steady snow it will be going into the evening commute. In fact, the end of the snow, we're pushing that timeline back a little bit further. It likely won't be until after midnight that the snow will come to an end, but the wind will just be beginning. So there's your impacts. No change to this. It's right now until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning is when the major impacts are here. We've upped the snow totals a little bit, about 9 inches expected here in the Quad Cities. There's your wind gusts, not sustained speeds, but the gusts. And yeah, close to 50 miles an hour later tonight. General rule of thinking, you know, to put common sense into this, once the sun goes down, the wind is going to go up, and that's when you need to stay off the roads. There's a look at the wider snowfall map. Most of us on average 5 to 10 inches. The 10-inch amounts likely limited to here, the northern part of the region on the Illinois side of the river, but 9 inches here in the Quad Cities I think is a fairly solid bet. Now once this storm gets out of here, it's so strong it's going to chug onto some really cold Arctic air. We're looking at dangerous wind chills next week. This is Monday morning, 5 a.m. Feels like temperature of 31 below zero, 36 below zero in the Sauk Valley. We're going to see some wind chill warnings with that for sure. So I'll do another YouTube Live later this morning at 9 o'clock talking about not only this winter storm, but also the cold coming in next week. You can find a link to that on our website, WQAD.com. Right on the weather tab. We'll simulcast that to Facebook, by the way, too. We're in the 6 o'clock hour, so we got the 14-day coming up in a second here, but there you see the magnitude of the cold coming in early next week. Wind chills well below zero. We get a break from the snow until about Thursday with some snow showers possible there. We'll see if there's any other big systems, too. We'll do our 14-day after this.
Not all internet is created 10G. That's why more people are excited about the game-changing power of Extreme. We didn't stop at a fiber-powered network. We went further. Extreme's 10G platform brings a new level of fast, up and down. Plus, better than ever whole home Wi-Fi and new built-in threat detection to keep your internet safe and secure. With the power of Extreme 10G, you're going to be unstoppable.
Don't see anything too big. Instead, in terms of storm systems, you see the Arctic air is here to stick around for a while. I don't see any opportunity for that snow to melt until we get to about the end of week 2, and it's going to take a while. So get ready for some cold, but at least a nice big break from the snow for a bit.
And this morning's
vehicles. Live look at I-74. We're starting to see at least a little bit more pavement on these camera views. Let's see what Interstate 80's got to offer us. And yeah, similar view. The right-hand regular travel lane looks good. The left-hand lane, the passing lane, that I'm sure is still quite a mess. Still very much a mess in some of our other hometowns too. The snow continuing to fall in the Sauk Valley. This is a live look at downtown Rock Falls. That's Illinois Route 40 there, the intersection. And we're expecting the wind to pick up this lighter, fluffier snow moving around. Blizzard warning begins 5 o'clock this evening, and after that is when travel becomes nearly impossible. How long those blizzard conditions will last, that's what we're going to be tracking coming up in the next half hour.
response overall.
Okay, and what is your message to drivers right now?
Again, take it slow, increase your following distance, and for those that are along those posted snow routes, just make sure you keep those vehicles off of those major thoroughfares to help our staff and our team clear those roads efficiently and safely.
Okay, yes. Right. Well, we really appreciate what you all are doing and appreciate you joining us as well. And I'm sure if you please keep us up to date if you all have anything else that you want to update on, but any types of issues that you're dealing with right now?
Again, right now it's the posted snow routes and just having people be cautious and when they're out there traveling and out and about. And, again, we're going to be out there all day and into probably the next day or more, and throughout the snow to get travel as safe as we can throughout the city.
Okay. All righty. Thank you so much for joining us, Robin.
Quad Cities here on a Friday. We've got 41 minutes past the top of the hour, and we have a mess on all of our roads this morning. Travel is not impossible, but it is difficult. You got to give yourself a couple of, actually several extra minutes, let's put it that way, because you see our commute times here are very much inflated compared to what we would normally show on this graphic at this time. The good news is we're getting a break from the steady snow here in the Quad Cities. You can see that impact with some clearer road conditions being found on Interstate 80. That's near the bridge. Let's go to the rest of the cameras, and still a lot of snow-covered roads on the interstate itself. This is 80. A couple of views look pretty nasty, especially out toward Iowa City and right here in the Quad Cities. I-74 is showing some minor improvement, but you still got to take it nice and slow. To the hometown camera network, where finally the snow has come to an end in the Sauk Valley, and really a lot of our other hometowns starting to see that break come in. Just a couple of lighter snowflakes here downtown. Nice to see the pavement in Rock Falls finally. That's Illinois 40 there. Still the side streets, as you can see, an absolute mess. Let's pull in the latest road conditions from the Iowa DOT. No surprise, everything is pink, meaning it's completely covered, and it will remain that way for a good chunk of the morning. Temperatures are colder today. That has allowed this lighter, somewhat fluffier snow to stick more to the pavement more efficiently, and that's what's causing all of our issues. So here's our break that we've got in the snow right now in the Quad Cities, but we're just about ready to see this radar fill back in, and actually getting some impressive signatures starting to show up here near Burlington. Some of this is what I would call convective looking, in that it looks like we're getting some robust lift upward into the atmosphere. We could see some lightning strikes with this as it moves off to the north and east toward Oledo, and eventually it'll be here in the Quad Cities, I think, closer to the 8 o'clock hour. So this break is short-lived. I do expect this entire region right here to fill back in with heavy snow bands as we get toward the middle part of the morning. What happens later today, I think, is more impactful than this morning. That is a rare blizzard warning for the Quad Cities and points south from 5 o'clock this evening until noon on Saturday. And to give you an idea of how strong the wording is with this, a blizzard warning is the top tier warning for a winter product from the National Weather Service. It doesn't get any more severe than that. A blizzard warning right there at the top. So that means travel tonight will become impossible. It's recommended do not be out on the roads, and if you have to be, you better make sure you have a winter weather survival kit in your car. And we have a list of what that includes on our website at WQ80.com. Just type in winter survival kit in the search bar. It'll come right up. There you see the snow filling back in once we get toward the mid-morning, like I just showed you on radar, and that will be the case that continues throughout the morning into the afternoon. Now, if you live east of the Quad Cities, Kewaunee, down toward Galesburg, and here into Stark County, Bureau County, Princeton, some rain will be briefly possible this afternoon. I don't think we're going to see any icing issues. It's not a rapid temperature drop by any means, but it will change back over to snow later in the afternoon and the evening. We're also pushing the timeline for the end of the snow back. It looks like that won't happen until now, well after midnight. As you're seeing here, still 2 o'clock in the morning, we're dealing with some accumulating snow at times. So here's the updated timeline. Major impacts from now all the way to 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're having about 9 inches of snow total for most of us. And on top of that, we're going to bring in 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts later this evening. Now you see why we have a blizzard warning. If you need to travel, it looks like you won't be able to do that safely until about noon on Saturday. That's when most, if not majority, of the roads should be in much better shape. Future track snowfall into motion. Again, most of us around 8 to 9 inches. Higher amounts possible right here north of Interstate 80 on the Illinois side of the river. And of course, all that's going to be blowing and drifting as we go on. Now, this storm system is so strong that it is going to pull down some extremely cold air behind it. And we're going to feel the punch with this early next week. There's a wind chill watch out, by the way, which I'm not even going to start to try and talk about because we already have enough warnings as it is. But this is kind of what we're talking about for early next week. This is Monday morning. Feels like temperature of about 30 to 35 degrees below zero. That is certainly going to have an impact, and it may repeat itself on Tuesday morning as well. So let's talk about not only this storm, but that cold in more detail later this morning. 9 o'clock, I'll do another YouTube Live. You can find a link to that right now at WQ80.com. Just hit the weather tab, and I'll put out another push alert on the News 8 app as well. Let's do the 8-day, then we'll take a break and do the 14-day. There you see, we don't even get above 0 degrees for a high early next week. We will get back into the teens, which is a slight chance of snow showers on Thursday. Will there be any more big storm systems to deal with beyond the next 8 days? That's what we'll track next.
At Peterson Plumbing.
So we're going to get bitterly cold, but in exchange for that cold air, we get a break from any big potential snowmakers for a while, which I think will be a welcome sight for many of us. Just make sure you're braced and ready to go for that real cold air next week.
All right, Andrew, we'll Scott County and Muscatine counties. We'll be right back.
Joe, tell us where you are and what you're seeing right now.
Charles, we're out in Milan right now, and it hasn't been snowing for about an hour now. Hopefully this lull in the snow is giving the plows an opportunity to kind of catch up and clear some more of these roads. Let's flip this around and give you guys a look at what we're seeing out here. I would say the roads in Milan are okay. Some of these side roads haven't been touched yet, but we're about to turn on to West First Avenue, which does look like it has been plowed. So crews are doing the best they can to get out here as fast as possible and get these roads cleared for everyone who is making that morning commute today. Still very windy out here though. We've seen a lot of flags whipping around in the wind, so that's something to keep an eye on. When that snow does return this afternoon, I'm sure it's going to be pretty similar to what it was this morning, where that snow was just pelting you in the face. That really kind of uncomfortable feeling out there. Be careful with the ice on the roads. Drive slow and steady wins the race here. No need to rush to work or anything like that. And just, yeah, if you can stay inside, stay inside. If you have to get somewhere, just make sure you're as careful as possible. Devin and Charles, back to you guys.
Alrighty, Joe, thanks. That's some good advice there. And of course, Joe will be back for us in the Beast on our 11 o'clock hour.
Yeah.